Hello, everybody, and happy Memorial Day. I'm where I always am. I'm working at my local dive bar. And today I'm working on my Monster Island piece. And you can see there's been overrun by the krill, which were the aliens, the little bug aliens from Alien Alamo. We got Gomer. I was wrong. It's not Gooch, it's Gomer. AWOL. And this is Rooster. This is Rooster. Um, in the character sheet for Rooster, I was wrong. It's not. It's Jackie Gleason is who he has his idea of what Rooster sounds like when he talks. So, and I'm glad I picked. I knew he would have AWOL in the Escape from Monster Island, but in the promo piece that he's showing right now, it's got Mac and Duke, and it's got Rooster. So I'm really glad that I included Rooster in this drawing. So since he's going to be, it looks like he's going to be prominent in Escape from Monster Island. So, and remember, Graham has his new campaign, which was launched on Friday, and it was Joe Frankenstein, The Eye of Ra. So please go over to Indiegogo, check it out. I will have the link to his current campaign in the description, so you have the ability to go and check it out for yourself. It's a very interesting story. What's really nice is that this is where you have when your creator and his hired help are on the same page. He's not doing the artwork. He has someone else doing the artwork. And when he was doing the launch, they were showing off some of the pages. And he was like, oh, well, the artist is doing this, which I didn't have in the original script, but he's creating a new story for me to investigate later on. That's always what you want is when you're an artist, is to take what they want and then expand upon it to give them even greater ideas than beyond what they originally had come up with. I know Louise Simonson, when she talks about her time working on New Mutants, how she loved working with Brett Blevins because she would write a story. And like the scene was they're in a classroom, and like all the things that Brett Blevins would have the kids doing, sitting at their desks. Like there was one thing where Magic was taking the pencil and she had it like squeezed between her nose and her lip because she was bored. And so she was like, I didn't have that in the script. Brett did that himself. And how she loves how when you do a script and you just hand it off to the penciler and then it becomes their script, and what they do and how they interpret the information is always makes for a delightful surprise when it's done well. So you can tell from the way Graham is talking, Graham and Chuck Dixon, who wrote it, they're now experiencing themselves with their artist. And I'm sorry, I didn't look it up before I started this video to tell you who the artist is, but if you go to the campaign, you can look it up, and you can then look at the launch video with Graham interacting with him, and see if he has his own channel and whatnot. So, but what I'm doing is, see if you take notice with the smoke here, okay, I just use the side of the pencil, and even though there's not much texture to this paper, it's still, you take a look, see how like this right here, and the white part, I'm not going to touch the white part, I'm just going to touch where the graphite hit the paper, and it creates that extra texture to the billowing smoke coming off the mountaintop. So that's what I'm doing right now while I chat with you guys. Today's topic is going to be about Cody Dennison again. I've been following him the best of my ability. He was at Charlotte this weekend. He hasn't posted too much, so I don't know if he's still in Charlotte or if he's headed home or what. I don't know. Cecil and his girlfriend went down to see him race. Thank you very much. But the only thing was I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping for Cecil to stream during the race, or for Cody to hand Cecil his phone so Cecil could stream the race while the race was going on. But they weren't. So I had to rely on the TV coverage. So a couple things. He finished 13th. On the final restart, he was third. But he was third on old tires, 40 laps plus. And when you have these tires, the way they're designed, they wear down over the laps. So he had tires with 40 plus laps on them, and the rest of the field, fourth down, they all had new tires, which gives them all an distinct advantage. So in the final restart, I wasn't surprised. He dropped fast, and I was like, ah, no! I was yelling at the TV, but it was what to be expected. I knew it was going to happen. I knew, and I've used to watch NASCAR a lot, and I've seen that happen so many times, and all. And this is the reason why I hate it when you have some of these superstars who many times I don't like. I remember like sometimes like Jeff Gordon, he's on tires that were 20 laps more than the other drivers, and he's holding them on. I was like, ah. Or Jimmy Johnson, or who's the Logano, that little twat. I was expecting it. I was kind of like watching Camelot with him. It reminded me of the days when Ken Schrader would be racing, and Kenny would be out there with like 10 tires like 10 or 20 laps less than everybody else, and you just watch him slowly drift back. So hated it for Camelot. It was a woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, if he'd gone in for tires like everybody else, where would he have come out? Would he have come out in 13th place? If he'd done that, did he have the equipment to race, to pass some drivers? Those are woulda, coulda, shouldas. He raced with what he's got. That's all any driver can ever do is you race with what you got. So, but I mean, it's what it is. It's called racing for a reason. So, I mean, I still enjoyed it, and it was nice to see for the restart him sitting up front, and so everybody could see him. That was still, even though you knew he was gonna drop back, it was still nice and great to watch. So, I wanted to go over with you guys how I watch these races when we can't really get any coverage for Cody. When like the race announcers, they only cover like the top 5 cars, if that. A lot of times it's only the top 2 cars that they talk about. So, how do you watch the race for your driver? And we're going to use Cody and how do you watch to keep track of him, to know how he's doing while the race is going on when TV coverage isn't telling you? The very first thing is, believe it or not, know the car numbers for the girls and the black guy and the Hispanic guy. The reason why you want to know their numbers is because if they're doing well, they're going to highlight them. If they're not doing well, they're still going to talk about them. So if you know where these drivers are in relation to Cody, there's a greater possibility that you'll be able to see Cody in the frame when the camera's on one of those drivers. Okay? That's how I'm able to pay attention, not pay attention, but that's how I'm able to track, and the greater the possibility of, oh, they're talking about the one Latina girl, she's in the 25. Cody is 2 cars behind her, pay attention, maybe we'll get a shot with him behind her. So, and that's where, and this is again, sponsorship. If the sponsor wants a paint scheme like Timcast does, yeah. I mean, I will be honest. I thought the wrap for the Cyber Frog car stood out more, so you could see him in the pack of cars. So when you got a shot of the Latino girl, you could see the Cyber Frog car behind it in the shot. When they do a shot of her racing down the front stretch, and it's a straight orange shot, so she's coming towards you. Okay, again, that's where you gotta pay attention, and that way, so like, okay, oh, that's the car. I can kind of make out the Timcast logo. Oh, that's which again, Timcast. It's a type font. There's nothing. There's no visual symbol, because you gotta keep in mind, Cyberfrog had a dynamic color scheme, and it had the frog being a symbol, just like a Doritos bag with the logo and a Dorito chip. That is a symbol, which means that a lot of times you can see the car easier on the track, even if it's from a distance. Another thing that I do to keep track of them is I'm always watching the scoring loop. Okay, so the leader, no scoring loop, or no time trial, no notification, just that they're the leader. Then the car that's second behind them, it says it's second by 0.43 laps. Okay, the car behind that is behind by 1 second, 0.32. So when you look at Cody and you see he's running, let's say 5 seconds off the leader, and he's 5.32. The car behind him is 5.53. So you can tell he's behind, but it means that driver is pretty close. So you want to watch that driver to see, is he getting closer to Cody lap to lap? If he's getting closer, it's like, okay, is he hitting his marks on the track better than Cody? When I mean that, when I say hit the marks, is when you're hitting the track. Okay, think of it this way: when you're on an on-ramp to a highway, okay, and it's a curve, okay. If you're going fast, if you're on the outside, you can go faster. Whereas if you're on the inside, if you're doing the same speeds, it's tight. You're like gripping the steering wheel more to hold on to the curve as you enter the highway. Same thing goes when on racetracks. When he's hitting the curve, when he's going into the corner of lap 1, is he sticking to the high side, or is he diving deep into the corner? So he's got to grip that steering wheel more, and he's got to turn the car tighter to maintain his speed. That's what I mean when I say hitting his marks on the track. So if the car behind him is hitting its marks, what's going to happen is, if he's hitting his marks, he's going to gain on Cody, and you're going to see from 5.53 laps behind Cody, he's now, and Cody's 5.36, he's now 5.45. So you can see how he's gaining on Cody. Same as when he's behind another car, if that car is 5.21, then you know that Cody's close, and there's a possibility, if he's hitting his marks right, he can overtake that driver that's ahead of him. That's how you follow these drivers when the camera isn't on them, so you can see how well they're doing. Another thing also, remember, with these cars, the more laps that they put on those tires, the more the performance falls off in the car. So where he might be 5.36 at the beginning of the run, as they put laps on those cars, he's going to fall off. He's not going to be driving 5.36 the entire time. He's going to slowly drift to a 5.46, a 5.58, and up to we've seen it where he's like 8 seconds off. He went from 5. You'll have a run where he starts off 5 seconds behind the leader. By the end of that run, he's 8 seconds or 12 seconds. That's where you got to pay attention to the car. You know how it goes with ARCA specifically. It's very easy for these cars to get lapped. So if you see a car that's, let's say Cody's in 15th, the car that's 20th is 1 lap down. The car that's in 19th, if it is listed as, let's say, 14.35, then you know, okay, that's how far the leader is to, so you can see the distance that Cody is from being a lap down. So it's like, Cody, come on, man, hit your marks, don't fall, because if you fall to 15 seconds behind the lap leader, guess what? That means you're now a lap down. So that's how you follow Cody when he's racing, and you're not understanding. So you can see how well he's doing, or a lot of times at the end of these runs, how close is he to being lapped. So, because now once he gets lapped, you don't really know how well he's doing to take in a position from someone else, because after they're lap down, all they're listed as is 1 lap. So you'll have 5 cars that are all 1 lap down, and then you have a car that's after them that's 2 laps down and whatnot. And when that happens, you don't know how well the driver's doing. You don't know if he's doing better at the end of the run versus the beginning of the run, or whether he's how far he's fallen off. So that's how I follow. Okay. Now the important thing is that he's racing with what he's got. Remember, he's racing on a small team, limited funding, limited resources. But as he's constantly pointing out, his team is doing much better with him as the driver than they have in years past. This is important because if he's able to continue these improvements with this team, okay, there's a greater possibility, maybe not by the end of this year, but for next year, there's a greater possibility of them working out a partnership with these larger teams to get better equipment, maybe get more engines. Because remember, they race with the same engine for like 4 races and then they rebuild it. These bigger teams, they're rebuilding their engine after every single race. Maybe they can be able to work a partnership out with one of these bigger teams so they can get their engine rebuilt every two races. That's an advantage for him. Here's a perfect example. They are going to Iowa in 2 weeks. That means the team has 2 weeks off. This might be the week that they rebuild the engine, which means he might be much faster than normal at Iowa because he's got a fresh engine. Okay? So these are things, and also sponsorship deals. With the way he's performing and the fact that he's been able to on his own procure sponsorship from first with Ethan crowdfunding it, then with Tim Pool, there's a greater possibility of getting additional sponsorship by the end of the season or getting sponsorship lined up for next year. Because the more sponsorship they have, the bigger the sponsorship deals, the more money they have for equipment, for tires, for gas. Okay? I mean, they're never going to get to the point where they have like the top of the line stuff as a small team. But the better Cody performs, the more, and the level of consistency he has, the greater possibility of better partnerships and more sponsorship for the following year. And I do want to see Cody do this. Like he said, he's living the dream. He's always wanted to race NASCAR, and he's living the dream by racing this year. If he doesn't race next year, he's fulfilled his dream. Me personally, I'm getting back into NASCAR just enough that I want him to race. I want him to race because it's enjoyable for me. So, guys, that's really all I got. I mean, like I said, I hope he does better each race. He's showing that that he's learning. And that's one of the reasons why I want him to go back to these tracks next year, so he's learned, because he keeps saying how a lot of these tracks, when the green flag drops, other than qualifying, he's learning on the fly, other than watching other guys race in videos. So I want him to be able to go to Dover next year and see if he does better, because he's learned so much about these individual racetracks. They can take that information and build upon it for the following year. That's why I want him to be able to race next year. And I hope he does. I hope he's able to continue his partnership with his crew, with his owner, and with his sponsors. So, guys, this is Memorial Day. Remember, people gave their lives for us to enjoy these freedoms. Yeah, keep in mind, this freedom I have in doing this video is because someone died for me. Okay? Someone died giving you the ability to watch this video. Okay? We can't thank them, but we can honor them. Okay? Guys, you all have a great day. I'm going to have a great day. And remember, even on great days, life can be stressful. When that happens, just take it all one dot at a time.